Once upon a time, there was a flea named Marty. He was round, black, and very short. He had tiny legs. Marty was a cool flea who liked being funny. Sometimes he was impatient. Every day, Marty would hop around and chew on furry animals. He lived at a vet clinic where he was surrounded by animals, bottles of medicine, and very bright lights.
Things were sometimes dangerous at the vet clinic, especially for an impatient flea. He could never seem to wait for the right moment to hop around, so he was always trying to keep from being stepped on.
Once a cow nearly stepped on him. Another time a dog's toy was dropped on him, and poor Marty had to stay in bed for 9 days. One day, the worst accident of all happened. Marty was chewing on a dog at the vet when the dog was given some medicine. Some of the medicine got on Marty, and he began to feel so sick that he had to jump off the dog.
This time, Marty was in bed for 2 whole weeks before he felt better. The very day after he had recovered from the terrible medicine, Marty decided he did not want to live at the vet clinic anymore. Life was just getting too dangerous. He was afraid. He needed to get away, far away.
There was a stormy that night. Perfect, he thought. No one will see me escape on a such dark and stormy night. Quickly, he grabbed a picture of his family and hopped through the vet clinic. Marty hopped outside into the rain. Being outside of the clinic made him feel afraid, but he knew he had to escape. He went on walking. All at once, he saw a bird land a few feet away from him.
He bravely hopped over and grabbed onto the tail feathers of the bird. The bird did not even notice Marty. She took off into the night. All night long they flew through the rain. Marty became tired, but he did not get wet, since he hid under the tail feathers of the bird. The bird's body kept Marty warm. Soon he fell asleep.
Marty did not know that this bird was flying a long distance that night. In fact, she was flying across the ocean. When Marty woke up the next morning and looked down, all he saw was dark water. Every direction he looked, there was just more water. He felt frightened and wondered to himself, where in the world am I going? Soon the weather began to get quite windy.
The bird had to make many turns and twists to stay in the air. Marty began to become very dizzy and could barely hang on. All at once, the bird made a sharp turn and a dip, and Marty lost his hold. He fell down, down, down. Thud! Marty landed on something soft and mushy. Marty did not realize that the bird had been flying directly over a cruise ship at the moment he fell off.
He had landed on top of a sponge. He must have been the luckiest flea ever to survive such a fall. But where was he? Marty hopped around to investigate, and soon learned he was on a ship. He sampled food from the ship's buffet and discovered that it tastes much better than the blood he'd gotten from all the animals at the vet clinic.
For several days, Marty relaxed on the ship. Then one morning, the ship's horn blew so loudly that Marty's left antenna flew right off. "Welcome to Calcutta," a voice boomed. The ship was stuck in India. Marty could hardly believe his ears. He hopped down the ramp, breaking all off the feet of the passengers. India was sandy and bright. It was as hot as a sunburn. Walking through the streets, Marty could smell delicious things being sold by vendors. He smelled chicken, curry, and spicy noodles. He could hear unusual music that he had never heard before. Suddenly, Marty realized he was free. Marty happily pranced and hopped all around the city until by accident he hopped right into a large circus tent.
Then he saw the most beautiful butterfly he had ever seen. She was practicing in the corner of the tent, dancing with grace. Marty hopped right up to her and introduced himself. "I'm Marty," he said. "How did you learn to dance like that?"
My name is Pooja. I studied with my teacher for many years to learn to dance. Years, thought Marty. I could never be that patient.
Would you like me to introduce you to my teacher? Asked Pooja. Yes, please. That would be nice of you, he replied. Together they walked through the city. Finally, he came to a little studio. A tall green grasshopper met them at the door. My name is Miss Knot, said the grasshopper. Marty started his dance lessons that afternoon. Every day he worked for hours with Miss Knot, learning how to hold finger cymbals, how to turn and twist, and how to feel the rhythm of the music. At first the lessons were very frustrating for Marty. He was a flea with no hips. He kept dropping the cymbals. He kept bumping into things. But Miss Knot also taught Marty about confidence and courage. Slowly, he began to become a great dancer. He worked with Miss Knot for an entire year. Miss Knot taught Marty to be kind. He almost forgot about all of the animals at the vet clinic, until one day when he saw a flea on a furry animal. That is not kind, he thought. All at once, Marty realized he had been just the same as that flea before he left the vet clinic. He felt ashamed. The next day at his dance lesson, he told his teacher how he used to live. He told her about his feelings and asked her what he should do. What do you think you should do? Asked Miss Notch. I think I need to go back home and fix things, replied Marty. Then that is what you must do. I know you will find your way now. You have studied much and learned to be a great dancer. Goodbye, Marty. Marty left hopeful, proud, and excited, and also a little nervous. He packed up his costumes and instruments. His friend Pooja introduced him to a friendly snake, who gave him a ride back where the big ship docked. Pooja asked if she could come to America with Marty, and he told her she could.
Marty returned to America and Pooja flew him back to the vet clinic. Then she flew away to find a circus, and she never saw her again. Ever since then, Marty has been a wonderful dance teacher to the furry animals. He learned it was more fun to dance than to suck blood from animals. He was so small he had to use a bullhorn to shut in their ears. But Marty had learned how to be patient while he was in India. So each day he tried and tried, and soon all of the animals visiting the clinic wanted to learn to dance. He learned to be more kind, and he told each of them how sorry he was to have chewed on them so much before. He felt like a better flea, smarter and more gracious. He kept in touch with his dance teacher by writing email, letters, and postcards. He always remembered how she taught him to dance, and each summer he visited her in India.